Greetings, everyone. How are you? It is Tuesday a.m., the 22nd of December, and those are bowls clanging in the background because Fire's having his breakfast, and he likes to go in, and Luna's licking her lips for hers, and Pablo's up there on the back of the couch. He's already had some of his breakfast earlier. We already went out before 9:30 after I'd showered and got all ready. And I woke up having been very, very deeply connected to the realms, like I often do, especially when I take a certain supplement at night because I'm very deprived of secreting properly right now at this time. I thought that I would share a couple of things today that I think you're going to really find a lot of value in. And so while the dogs are having their breakfast, and I'm kind of suited up here, you can see I've got a little dragonfly hanging from my zipper fob. And this was sent to me by a company in Minneapolis, which I'm so thankful. Probably within just a couple of months after my son Zawa died, in my words, transitioned from a physical form, exclusively a physical form, spirit and body, and into spirit form. And so all of my life, I was not raised like the majority of the people that are going to be listening to me and with me. And I want to thank you for coming on board and subscribing, because I hope and I believe that we're going to do this together. And so I have strengths and you have strengths and we have experiences. And just with your writing, your comments and sharing, there's other people that are going to read those comments. And they're going to be, hey, maybe I shouldn't feel so intimidated to share my comments, because each and every one of us have actually been traumatized. We've been experimented upon. We've been depleted and wounded. And some of us have been traumatized to such hideous, horrific, repeated extremes that I was talking kind of loud because the bowls were clanging. And I just became aware of it. That it's really changed a lot about our lives. Before I get started, I like to point out tips. And so today I'm going to talk about functional clothing. You can see I'm suited up. I live in Northeast Minnesota, and I'm a 42-year multi-generational native Californian from Santa Cruz. So I had never, until the age of 42, ever, even though moving to Minnesota for 3 months, May, June, and July, until I turned 18. Those months weren't snowy. I'd never, ever, ever driven or lived in snow until the age of 42. I bemoaned, I bitched, I complained, I told everyone how much I hated it. And everyone kept saying, just learn how to dress for it. Just, come out of your other way and grow. And it's something that I resisted. And so now when I work with clients that go, I'm pretty sure that changing my diet isn't really going to do anything. I have to remember each and every one of us has a lot of different resistance. So as I was at TJ Maxx shopping for some of the things I'm going to show you that's functional clothing and functional hair, I don't have to get up and drag a comb through my hair. I don't have to spend a bunch of time making myself look presentable in the matrix terms. I've got a simple tie back to pull some of the loose ones that are still forming. And then some of the other ones are getting very long, very quickly, because my bars are going up on my batteries. And because I add key supplements that I help my clients with through consulting, one-on-one through the screen. I mean, I can help you power up in a way, and I say this with humble knowledge, in a way no one else alive today can do. I really, honestly can. I have scratched and dug and researched and studied for 37 adult years, and I was not raised within industry. I veered and went into industry, and it burned me. Just like many of you have knew or are learning now, that industry has burnt you too, whether it's religion, medical, all the offshoots of medical, pharma, and vaccine. It's the academic system. Well, you've got to have a degree. Oh, he finished and he's got a degree. Well, I'm proud of you, and that's wonderful because I know that you got a lot out of it. But instead of enslaving our people further into debt, we had ways where knowledge was passed down. You knew where you were going towards, the direction you were going towards. We don't know directions. We don't know directions the way we used to know directions. So anyway, when I was at TJ Maxx shopping for some of the clothing, I saw a woman looking at this big selection of dog toys and dog treats. And I stopped to pause to look at them because I thought, well, I wonder what's on there. It's a big selection. It's Christmas time. And I had gone in for some specific items. 1 or 2 extra blankets because I could pick up blankets at TJ Maxx for $12, $14, $16.99 that are thick and thirsty blankets, and they'll definitely keep you warm. And I wanted one for the new vehicle, and an extra one for the home. So that's what I got, is an extra blanket. I stopped and I paused, and the woman was going to pick up some rawhide treats. I looked and I thought, nope, there's nothing here at TJ Maxx for the dogs that these dogs are going to want. I mean, maybe they would want them, but they're going to cause me problems. Okay. $3.99 at Aldi's gets you, and there's several different flavors. So the gray colored one, like this one, is $3.99, and it's real beef. It's got raisin juice as a preservative and spices, and it's got some water. But it's, I look most of the time, I look to the ingredients. And so for $3.99, you're going to get the smoked flavor in the gray package. I wouldn't go for all the teriyaki and all the, all the different flavors and stuff. But these, I bought about a dozen of these and I put them up because I've got a lot of dog. And so anyway, outstanding dog treats. Instead of spending gobs and gobs of money on dog treats like a lot of people do, they want to spoil their dogs. Get them something that's actually functional and food like this. And there's more options, but this is just one of them. Okay. I'm also going to share with you, if you stay with me towards the end of the video, I lost my keys, and it's a really big deal to lose your keys. It's not a huge key ring, but I was led by my son, and I want to just give you just a little story about it because I was in tears not too long ago, and I was also freezing outside, so my fingers are still actually a little bit red. All right, let's get into functional clothing. So a lot of this functional clothing you can find at places like TJ Maxx, and I love TJ Maxx for this reason. I used to shop at LL Bean and all those different kinds of out in California, REI, and they have wonderful things. They really do. And I go to places like that just to see what they have to gather. I'm still overcoming being freezing outside and also being really upset about losing my keys, because if you lose one of your apartment keys, it's a $500 replacement. Not to mention, you don't want your mind to go into all that. So a functional vest, okay, can be very lightweight, but when you're out in the cold, and especially when you're moving alone and you don't have someone to go, oh, that's okay, I'll go get the spare key for you, right? You have to learn how to think very differently. So whether it's you're the highest functioning individual in your family, in your group, you're the most awake and aware, you have to be thinking almost, on a much, much higher level than maybe someone else who's really super dependent on the matrix, and I'll just, come what may. So a vest underneath one of these very functional shirts, which I'm going to show you next. We're going to unzip it with the beautiful dragonfly that they gave me that I put on my vest that I wear most of the time. So the vest, let me back up here so you can see me. And Luna's over here by me. The vest is simple, but it protects the core. And so when I'm going outside, now I can put on a thin jacket and I can stay out in 20-something degree weather in Northeast Minnesota quite easily for at least a half an hour to an hour, okay? So a light vest, this particular vest was about $12.99 at TJ Maxx. It's from the Love Tree brand, but there's lots and lots of good brands. So you want to have a good vest. I have 3 or 4 vests. I have a navy blue, a green one. I have a beautiful squash or sort of mustard, more of a squash yellow that I gave to Christina that stays here at the house because she's probably coming back. So we're going to put the vest over here. Actually, I'll turn my computer this way so you can kind of see where I'm going. So I've got my stuff on the chair. Now, when I moved into this apartment, Christina found the chair and the couch for free. So I did not have to put out money. And all of these decorations are items that I already had. I did not buy anything new besides my beautiful pig looking into the mirror. There's a painted pig I got for $12.99 that says, "Hi, I'm beautiful," when she's looking into the mirror. She's a pig, and she's so cute. This shirt is, let me get the tag here. Bear with me one sec. If you look at it up close, you can see it's got a black camo pattern, but it's very subtle. I like it that it has the V-neck. I like to wear my Zawa necklace, which is my son's name, Zahwa. It's very functional, and then it's got the finger holes. And this is really nice when you're outside. So something like losing your keys when you've already kind of come to the threshold of how far you can be outside. Oh, bless up. Good to see you, Whitney. Hi there. I'm sharing a story about some functional clothing. And so instead of us wearing status symbol clothing and all the brands and everything, this particular clothing is by RBX, excuse me. And it's $12.99. So I do not spend a lot of money on clothing, and I replace it as necessary. But this has got such an amazing fit to it. The important thing is that the fabric that it's made out of is very comfortable. It's highly, highly functional. And it's also super functional in that I was just locked outside on a very, very cold, snow all over on the ground day, locked outside, my keys were lost, and I'd already walked the dogs for over half an hour. And I was like, woo, my fingers were really, really, really red because I didn't wear gloves, and that wasn't a very functional, smart thing to do. Now, the other thing is I'm going to show you the pants. And, you know, I'm a little up in my weight right now, but these pants are 16. These pants are by Avalanche. And again, TJ Maxx, $16.99. I have the tags because I went shopping to go get the blanket and the batteries and a couple things I needed to get at TJ Maxx. And I'll come over here. I normally wear these pants, which are by Climate Tech from Walmart. I mean, I have worn and worn these pants summer, spring, and winter here. I've worn them to sleep in, and they're really, really comfortable, but they're starting to get kind of worn. But they're very, very good for helping to protect with cold. And we don't know what's coming anymore with the way they've changed the weather. You know, so we had phenomenal, unusually warm temperatures here. And I still can get by wearing stuff like this because it's really super lightweight. So these are the Climate Tech pants that I normally wear, and they were getting pretty worn. So I decided to buy a couple of pairs of pants, and these are the ones that I got. This is another pair. These are $16.99 for this pair, and they're the 90 degree. I saw that leg. What size are these? These are a large on the pants because you can see tall and frequently the smaller ones. And the thing that I like about these is that they've got the side pockets. And once you're wearing them, these side pockets on both sides, this is what I really look for. Not only are they They have a really nice lining on the inside. You don't need to wear underwear with them. I mean, you really, really don't. I think it would be really too congesting to wear underwear with them. And they look like so, and they've got even like a nice little reflector spot on the back, which is really nice for protection. And then they come down at the bottom, and we know these because we know them as yoga pants. But I've worked with women in Minnesota that when I first arrived here in 2002, they'd never ever worn yoga pants in their life. And I mean, I think the important thing to do is when they do start getting worn, like my Climate Tech, they've really had a lot of wear. It's best that we don't wear them outside if they're kind of see-through and you can see, your butt and your yoni and everything through them. I mean, it's pretty, distasteful on some level. And it's also provocative for people. So it is important that if you're going to wear the yoga pants that you get something that's going to be, because as much as I had memberships and for years and years and years went to naturalist places where we could walk around nude. The truth is, the reality is that due to these experiments that have been done, our people are excessively what I first started calling hyper hormonalized. And so they're just thinking about sex all the time, right? We've got a lot of males whose mothers have copper dumped into them and they don't know, they don't feel male anymore. So we love all of our people and we want to help our people. And none of this is ever a judgment. So since we're walking around in the matrix with varying degrees of, who knows what's going on inside of each person, because a lot of individuals, I said person because some of the individuals walking around are clones. So they're a straw man, okay? Straight up straw man. All right, so you want to get something that covers your backside. The next thing I'm going to talk about as I throw my socks around are TJ Maxx sells the Columbia socks. You don't have to live in a super, super cold place. These are amazing, these Columbia socks. They're $6 or $8.99 for 2 pair. They got the little Columbia logo on the side. And these are the black ones. And these are, the plum color. They're really awesome because on the inside, they've got the super soft. So these are not slipper socks. These are actually they're meant for wearing under the boots that you see me wear all the time. I wear a pair of Columbia. They're either vegan or they're largely vegan. There's no leather on them that I can find. And I got the green pair with the plum because I do like, I like to dress very functional. I used to really, really, really dress really well and go to the finest hair places and drive nice cars. And I worked in law and carried a briefcase. And I thought it was pretty damn important. And I realized I was just another, clone on the Matrix, acting a role. I was playing a part, like in a movie. And then I've shown you these before, but for people that didn't see them, wait until you find a sale. These are the Bernie's, Berne, and they're the overalls for $39, and they are lined. And yes, when I get into my vehicle that I bought, which we'll be doing a build on this spring and summer, I will have my overalls and my tank tops and be a fully functioning human. Pablo's got his functional jacket. And these, they sell at Aldi's, and I like that because we're out in the dark for real when it's really, really, really cold. It's slushy and it's icy, and this is reflective. The little zipper on here allows you, because I do put a harness on him, and I want to pull him by the neck. He's only 5 pounds. So it allows my harness fob to come through here. The around the body here, it's ruche, which means it's kind of gathered. So it's stretchy, so it's going to fit more to his body and keep him warm. And so I did spend $16.99 on this. I couldn't believe it. I was like, God, for a 5-pound dog, that's just crazy. But anyway, it is what it is. And then the inside of it is really, quite lined. So he doesn't like wearing it. He doesn't like wearing anything that's kind of stiffening. So I often have to take my zipper down and, or I want to, and push him into my coat because we're both freezing and my hands are red. And Then he'll ride around in my jacket for a little while because Luna is pretty thickly forested and she can stay outside for quite a while, and Fire just absolutely loves. Luna, did you eat your food? You ate your food too. Okay. All right. I think that's it for the functional. Oh no, it's not it for the functional clothing. $12.99, and they have hats. Like this one. The inside is super cozy, and I mean, it really, your head will actually start to get really extra warm if it's not cold outside. So if you've got, if you decided that I'm going to go all the way, I'm going to get completely functional, and I'm going to go and dreadlock my hair. The first time you do it, this is the fourth time for me, 4 times. The first time you do it, it's like, oh, it's so scary. Everyone's looking at me. Oh my gosh. What if it turns into one big ball of a horrible mat? Well, one of mine back here, it did. 3 of them ended up together. And if I really wanted to, I could go to a loctician and she would cut the 3 apart and fashion it all up. Like I love the wicks. Like today, people are wicking their hair. So there's dreadlocks, there's locks, and there's wicks. And wicks are where you have these nice fat, almost look like that. What's that blue? Not Dragon Ball Z. Starts with an S. That character. I was on Messenger with Christina last night on the video, and I hit one of those things, and it gave me the blue spiky hair of that character, and I forget the name of the character. But anyway, it's like wicks are really thick dreadlocks that stick out, and I love them. I would love to have that. I was like, woo, I wonder if I would do that. That's another manicured look. I would. But so mine, some of them are thinner, and they've got, you can tell natural dreadlocks because they're loopy. Versus when someone goes and gets their dreadlocks manicured, they're like sausages. They're like perfectly round. Like this one, you can see it's still loopy, right? These are all just made naturally, made by God. They're just completely, and this little part up here is not dreadlocked, but it will become, and they're, look at this one, so the idea is to become a thickly forested tree being eventually. And I've got one more functional item. If you've got really, really big dogs, I had it on the floor, really big dogs. This is one of these kind of squishy material, you can kind of gel material. But the thickness of the cord is nice and thick. I accidentally got a knot in it. I haven't taken it out. And it's got a nice heavy duty clasp on it. So when I'm taking a dog out, it's slippery outside, and Fire used to be 180 pounds, and I've trimmed him down to about 155. And he wasn't fat before because he's so big. He distributed that weight really well, but it wasn't really healthy for him. And I was trying to get him to really detox, and I have. And so he's come a long ways. So I will actually take this and I will loop it in my hand like this. So I've got a very short amount, because the longer you have when you've got a really big animal out, and if they get perturbed or startled by something, you've got to be able to have the ability. So now I've got 155 right now, but up to 180 pounds of force pulling on me all of a sudden, and it's really slippery outside and it's dark and I'm by myself. So I've got to have functional gear. I'm building functional gear in that bedroom for my recreational vehicle, and I'm going to go into that vehicle later because I'm having a lot of different things done right now that I'm holding multiple plates. Okay, now we're going to talk about these keys. These are my keys with my taped up key fob for my Subaru. And it's not a super big one, but I paid to have all my business mail so I don't lose anyone's hair tissue test. I don't want it coming to my new home. I moved after being in the same home for 19 years, and I've got my little P.O. box key and my apartment key. If you lose this, it's $500 to replace it because everyone has to get a new key. So it's kind of a big damn deal. So I had my jacket on. It's got some pockets that go down, and I felt reasonably sure you can't fuck around when it's like 20 degrees outside and you're already red. Because, like me, I'm kind of like one of these people that's really resistant. I'm oppositional. I don't want to have to wear gloves if I don't have to because I need to have my hands free until I find the glove. And I'm going to keep looking for the glove. I have gloves in there that are all in a cabinet by the door. So your gloves are here, my scarves are here, my hats are here. My boots are on like a little faux grass thing so they kind of can drain off in there. But I generally take the purple bag container with poopy bags in it and everything and stick my keys in something so it cannot fall out in the snow. And that's what happened to me today. So I'd already walked Luna and Pablo for about a half an hour. I was really red in the fingers. I was like, whoo, I can't wait to go back in. I'm going to warm up for about 5 minutes and get Fire out so he can go to the bathroom too. My keys dropped. And I'd already gone all that way around, these different areas. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Oh my gosh, I can't find my keys. I'm like, wait a minute. Did I leave my keys in the house? No way. I always put my keys and my phone in the pocket, make sure I have the leashes and make sure the door locks. I have to be on it 100%. I can't slip up because when you're by yourself, you cannot do that. So especially in the wintertime. So I made the loop around this whole area and I come back and I'm like, I felt in my pocket for the keys as I'm walking up to the door, no keys. Oh shit. Oh my God, right? There's no keys. I'm red. My nose is dripping. It's still dripping a little bit. Oh my God, right? I look at the dogs and I'm like, I didn't protect them either. Just like I didn't protect my son. Oh my gosh, right? Your brain starts to race because you're like, I'm going to freeze. The building is totally locked. What am I going to do, right? I said, well, this is what you're going to do. Thankfully, it's still early enough in what everyone calls the morning. And you're going to take the dogs, even though you don't feel like it, even though your fingers are red. It's another learning opportunity. And I was like, oh my God, a tear or two came out of my eye. I was thinking a lot about my son this rise. And I started to walk and I thought, I'm just going to go look on the ground and just completely backtrack just everywhere I just went, which is quite a bit because Luna was so happy to get out and she was moving kind of fast. And eventually I put Pablo in the jacket and held him and we're just going really quickly down the road. And I made a circle and I started then go back around this whole other area that I walk around. That's not too far. I was standing in front of one of the doors, the main doors to get in. And I was like, you know what, Zawa, I can't do this right now. I really need help to find these keys. This is $500 for the apartment key. This is not having the Subaru key and having someone come out. This is, I've got a spare key, but I haven't been able to find it. So it's in here somewhere. But what if I couldn't find it for a couple of days? I'm like, I need help. So I started backtracking and I heard the voice inside that said, very clear, extremely clear. I've heard, I've sighted, I've remotely healed and sensed from the time I was 4 or 5, 1965, 66. My grandmother told me to expect to do it. She kept drilling me to do it. I developed it and developed it and developed it. I'm 59 years old now. So 50 some years of developing that this GPS is something I can count on. As I started to go this way, it said, nope, turn around. Okay. Turned around and went that way. I went up around the corner. I stood in front of the door and I was like, oh, Sal, I really need to find those keys. He said, wait, be quiet. I stopped. I was quiet. All of a sudden, I did not feel the cold like I normally feel the cold. My hands were red. I mean, red. I stood there and a few more tears came out of my eyes and I thought, oh my gosh, this is not what I needed. I could have easily laid down on the floor and slept for hours and hours and just said, screw it. It's almost Christmas. I have nothing to celebrate. It's just horrible. My son is gone, blah, blah, blah. My business is shut down, the professional space. Oh my God. And I could have really had a serious pity party. I really could have, thinking about the cost and what was going to happen to me today and how I needed to get to the post office to mail out people's kits. A man walked by and I had Luna and Pablo on the leash. It was a very, very large man, huge. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me." And I moved the dogs, being kind and keeping my manners, right? I do have that even though I bite when people do stupid stuff right now because I'm very raw. And he walked a little ways. He walked over to the crosswalk and he said, "Ma'am, did you lose these?" And I couldn't see what was in his hand for a moment. And he goes, "Did you lose these?" I go, "Thank you. Thank you so much." Wow. I had listened to Zawa when he said I was going to go the other way and go all the way the other whole half an hour around that whole huge area. No, go this way. If I had not lined it up by listening to Spirit with my son, I said, "Zawa, I need help. It's $500 for the key. It's going to upset everyone's lives at Christmas that I've done this." I came in and I noticed that there was a zipper pocket, that's always been there that I've used many times on my coat. And I was like, this is a learning opportunity. You cannot just stick your keys in your pocket anymore. You need to take a little extra precaution and put them in the zipper pocket. Then they're there. There's no possibility they're going to drop out. What I want to share with you is that my entire life, I did not come into the ancestors, awareness of the ancestors, hearing the ancestors, having an arena open up in my head. I had 17 and almost 18 years, lastly renting at Tranquility Day Spa, where people came up to the counter and Cassandra and Diane and Sandy and all the gals that still rent over there in Cloquet overheard my clients come out and say, "How'd you know that? How'd you see that? What else did you see?" I don't see how many times you had sex last night. That's not my business. But I can see what's in the field, what's on your mind, what's in your heart. When you're working the clay of the body, like I did, with these sensitivities, this intuition, this perception, developed as I have, with the study I put in for 37 years, I have read hundreds and hundreds of books. I literally devour voluminous amounts of material to the point that I know a lot of folks want to send me this and send me that. And every once in a while, it's kind of helpful. But I've already experienced a lot of this in the 80s and the early 90s. So it's not about being big-headed. It's about the fact that I feel in my heart that I have a certain amount of time in the next 3 years where I'd like to just lay down and shut off and just wish this all wasn't happening. But my grandmother prepared me that this would be happening. And she gave me prophecy. My son, Zawa, the necklace I wear every day, they're on Amazon for 12, 14, 15 bucks. I'd like to get a real gold one at some point, or a real something that I could even shower and not have to take it off every day, and it's not going to rust. He found my keys. I cried. I said, "Thank you. Thank you so much." I said, "Thank you, sir." I said, "May I touch your hand?" I touched his hand, and I did what I could do to bestow enormous goodwill and good fortune to come his way. That's my story. Okay. We're at 35 minutes. I don't want to keep going longer. I think I'm going to stop, go make myself a smoothie, and I promised you I was going to bring back a short one about speaking with Ma'az people at Fig Tree about the brand new product. And I didn't do it last night because I got a little tired. And so I'm going to bring that back before I get sidetracked with all the other things I'll be doing today. My days are not busy. I don't want them to be busy, but I have in my mind a certain amount of time where I've signed a lease, where I've gotten another vehicle, where I plan to travel, where I have, oh, thank you so much for being here, Whitney. You know, a lot of people are watching these because I'm getting emails and messages and orders, and people are starting to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to take a leap of faith on this. And I'm going to see if this works for me. Pablo, what you doing, buddy? Before I go, one thing I did buy for my vehicle, this is a 100-watt solar panel. It's portable, and these 4 glass panels were $156 with a coupon. Pablo, take it easy, buddy. Oh, it's kind of hard to, this is why I have figured out actually how to be able to use my phone without having as many subscribers, but I will have to eventually pay for a plan, and I'm trying to not do that because I'm trying to keep my finances manageable during this whole epidemic. So those solar panels are at Harbor Freight Tools, which are in most of the states that most of us live in. Harbor Freight Tools. And I put a coupon in the Van Dwellers site. Let me get it for you. I had them write it down. If you use this coupon number, 163-44171. If you use this coupon and you go to Harbor Freight Tools, Harbor Freight, that solar panel kit, which you can use at your home, you can put it outside, especially like you, Whitney. You live in a place that's got a lot more warm sunshine, even though it's sunlight that will fuel this. There's 4 glass panels. I wanted the flexible ones, and those look cooler, and they don't look like they're as breakable. But I did the research, and the glass ones actually last 25, 35, or usually quite a bit longer if you take care of them. They are sustainable in the winters, even here. And so that one is a portable unit, which means you could be in your apartment like I am. You could be at your mom's house, and you could set them outside, the 4 panels, and it comes with all the little plugins and everything. You can attach them to a battery, or you can go buy an inverter. So you charge the inverter will invert it into things that you want to power, your cell phone, your heater. The grid goes down, you can power a heater. So you're getting all 4 of those glass portable solar panels for $156. And that's the Thunderbolt brand. I looked it up. There were good reviews on it. I also posted it in the Facebook page called Van Dwellers, which a lot of people are being forced or making choices or are so thankful they do have a vehicle. They're learning to live in their cars, their SUVs, school buses. You can pick up a school bus easily, as I just found, for $2,500. So $2,500. Look at the miles, look at the shape it's in, and things like that. And people are getting big cargo vans and converting them. Depends on the size of your family. You can see, I've got 3 going on 4 dogs because Pablo, um, mated with another absolutely beautiful female. And that was another one of my wishes that Zawa made possible for me, knowing that he's not here in his body. So thank you for joining me. And I'm going to be back today with Ma'a, Dr. Sabi's former wife of the fig tree, has this brand new product coming out that's not listed on their website yet, but you'll be one of the first to know. Thank you. Sending you all love. And thank you for the support.